Lars, you've talked a lot about raising the standard last season and obviously this season as well. And the way that you guys worked in that second period in particular and into the third period against Toronto, is that what you're looking for the rest of this season? Call it, it's not necessarily the second half, but the final 30 games or so here?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots to build from in that. Even, the first period they scored 2, and we got outshot, no question. But I mean, as far as we only gave up 4 or 5 scoring chances, so it wasn't like they peppered us. They actually had more scoring chances in the second than what we gave up in the first. So, but yeah, like from game to game, you want that effort and that kind of push from our guys, that commitment. You saw guys, especially the third period. I love how we responded to. They get the early goal. And usually after having a big period like that, as far as the shot total was 21-10 or whatever after in the second period, teams usually make their push. They got that early goal, and I thought we pushed back right away. I thought we got time in zone right away. I thought we stuck to the game plan there and had a really good third also.
Your goalie tonight?
Yeah, I got a goalie tonight.
Who is it? If I may ask.
We're going to go with Elvis.
I asked that question to ask this one.
Yes.
Have you seen growth in his game? I know you're not a goalie expert, but over these last number of appearances, it seems like he's more calm in net. He's a little bit more in control. Have you seen that out of him in this little stretch?
Yeah, I think his game's been coming here in his last several starts. And sometimes you don't get the result, but you see the uptick and the progression in his game and a calmness, a little bit more. There's games where before you saw a stick in the corner 2 or 3 times, where it looks he's in desperation mode a lot, and he shouldn't be. And you see a lot more compact. He's bigger. He's making second period he came with some key saves, and kept us at that 2-1, 2-0, and then we were able to get back into the game. So certainly earn another start here, and hopefully he can continue just on that upward projection for himself.
Lars, does the injury to Nyquist with his UFA status, does that sort of inform your decision to do what you've done with Gavrikov today?
Yeah, a little bit. Look, there's no point in hiding from it. We're getting down to crunch time here, and we're just going to take it a day at a time at this point. Where we're at with Gavi is tonight he won't play, and we'll see where we're at tomorrow.
Yeah. And can you say what that conversation was like with Gavi, how difficult that is to...
No, it's personal, and I'll just speak on what I think of Gavi. He's total pro, and the guys, he gives it every night. He's a guy that you love to be around. He understands the situation, we all do, and when you're at the stage we're at, in the position we're in, these are the decisions that you don't like to have to be in. But we're there, and so he's a quality person first and foremost. He's been outstanding for us.
And that blue line's been hit as hard as anything by injuries this year.
Yep.
This is not an injury, obviously, but without Werenski all year, now without Gavrikov, just how crazy is that back there, and how unsettled do you think it might be?
Yeah, it's we've talked about it all year, like you said, all year. When you lose, our number one with Z, we know what he brings us in his minutes, and it's for the end of the year. It's not a 1 month injury, 2 month injury. That's tough to swallow right away, and then you've got banged up more and more. And then Gavi, yeah, it's gonna be a challenge. But again, we go back to that word opportunity, and there's gonna be lots of it back there, lots of minutes. Someone's got to take the minutes. So, we got to do things in 5. We got to make sure you got good support from the forwards and all those things that we try to be consistent and good at every night. And that's what it's gonna take for us to make sure that we're competitive.
Lars, back to Dylan's question a little bit, the intangibles that come forward from a game like that with young players who, found a way to come back from 2-0 down and found a way to win in a tough building and a tough environment. How do those carry forward, especially for young guys like Kent Johnson, Kirill, big parts of that win the other night? Yeah,
the good thing is, like you mentioned Kent, I don't think he had a great first period. He turns one over on the first goal, and I told you after late, he's in there the last 10 seconds. He does a spinner and a backhand across, the hash marks, and he doesn't see Marner. If Marner's there 1/2 step, he's got a breakaway. So you address those things, and I thought he improved from there. I thought he got better, and Marchenko gets an opportunity on that line. I thought he brought a lot to that line. His ability to protect pucks he's going in the net. He gets reward. He gets his first assist. Obviously, I'm sure that's a big story right now, and. But he's growing. Is the pace of the game. I think he's starting to understand he can play. He can belong here, and not just by scoring, but how he impacts the game. And there's other guys in that discussion too, not just those two. So you get in that environment on Hockey Night in Canada against a top 5 team, you're down 2, it can go the other way real quick, real bad. And it didn't. You know, we didn't just stop the bleeding. We started to play and played very well. And then to me, the third period is almost more impressive than the second, because you get on a roll in the second, you feel good about yourself. The third period, because they score early, it can go the other way real quick too. And it didn't. You know, we hung in there and we stuck to the game plan. We had some ozone shifts, and then Silly sets up. Well, I don't know if he sets it up. He's shooting it at the net, and Kent gets the goal, and he got the lead. And I like how we played with the lead. You know, we didn't panic. We weren't icing the puck every time. Guys were still making plays, and I thought we did a real good job 5-on-6.
Those are the types of wins that can have dividends. Who knows how far down the road? Tonight, a year from now, whatever, right?
That's right, and that's, you know, you get this question all the time. Well, where's the growth? Where's the growth? Well, it's been a challenging year because a lot of guys have been put in situations that maybe they're not ready for, and not to their fault. And sometimes they've handled it really well, and other times it's been very challenging. So, you know, the growth comes in those games on a Saturday night. How you get handled against a top 5 team? How do you handle losing? How do you handle adversity? These are the things you don't see in the analytic world or the stats, but so much to grow from for all these guys, our older guys and our younger guys. How you handle these situations serve you down the road. They do, and we won't always be in this situation. We won't. It's been a tough year for a lot of different reasons, and so for the most part, I think guys have they've stuck with it, and they're putting the effort in practice, and we're pushing and competing, and some of these games, that's a game like Toronto. You wish you could put it in a bottle and for 2 periods and put a lid on it, and then pour it back out here tonight. We're playing another real good team, real fast, very deep team, and dangerous with speed. So we're going to have to be ready again tonight.
How special?
Actually, going back to the Gavrikov situation a little bit. I mean, as a coaching staff, you guys have put a lot of work into Gavrikov. This is where he started. He's at 255 games, I think, in his career. You don't do the negotiations, obviously, but as a staff, like how disappointing, how frustrating are you can you be at this point in it, knowing that it looks like a trade may be a possibility?
You know what? We know our circumstance where we're at, and you know, I've been on both sides as a player and a coach, and you understand the business side of it. It's these are real hard decisions, and I stay out of those. You know, the dollars and cents and term and all that. That's not my job. My job is to coach these guys. I can tell you what I think of Gabby, you know, but I understand both sides. I really do, and I love Gabby for what he brings. His personality, his passion for the game. He's a great teammate. You know, he's very selfless in how he plays the game and does all the ugly things and blocking shots. And I don't know how many times he's been hit in the face with a puck or a stick this year and comes right back. And so, you know, that's all I'm going to talk about with him. I really appreciate how he plays, how he competes every night. And it's been challenging for him. It's been challenging for the organization. Unfortunately, this is where we're at, and these are the things you have to deal with.
Personally, for you, you know, growing up in Canada, you talked about before the game. It's like everybody looks forward to Hockey Night in Canada. How special was it for you to, you know, go up, especially in Toronto, and get a win on Hockey Night in Canada?
Yeah, you know, again, it takes you back to when you're a kid. Again, I was mentioning, like you had 2 or 3 channels. That's all you had, and the Saturday night was the big night. And a lot of times it wasn't Toronto. I think it was the Calgary Edmonton type. That's where I kind of grew up, being in Western Canada. But you look forward to those games, and it's still you still look forward to them tonight. There's a different energy on those games. You can feel it, and you enjoy those moments.
Thanks.